guys, it's your best boxing friends. I'm Kelsey. This is Rachel. Vasyl Lomachenko soundly defeated Luke Campbell over the weekend in London to have 3 of the 4 major lightweight belts. In the last show, we talked about Lomachenko.
You said that Luke Campbell, like his style, would be an example of somebody that you thought down the line could beat Lomachenko. Because Lomachenko is skilled, well-rounded, works really hard, but he doesn't have like that X factor thing that somebody like a Manny Pacquiao, a Roy Jones, like whatever it is that you look at somebody and you're like, this guy has this. Loma's just like good.
And so my question today is, how could you sit here and let me say that on national YouTube television?
I feel like it's still like reasonable. I mean, you said that Luke Campbell wasn't going to be the guy that beat him, but that you thought like, especially somebody with long arms like that. So when the fight started, I thought he was a little too slow to beat him, but
Campbell was
a little too slow. That
he was a little too slow.
Loma was going to be able to figure out. Yeah, it turned out as the fight wore on that I thought that Loma would very quickly take advantage of that slowness and come inside. And maybe that's because in my head, because that's what Manny Pacquiao would have done, right?
Right.
He would have come in like a tornado and at all these different angles, you're like, how did he get inside these crazy long arms and knock me out?
Well, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I was just joking with you when I asked you how could you let me, because I do think what I said was true. The bookies liked Lomachenko to stop Luke Campbell. A lot of people, as well as the boxing fans, did. I did not. I picked Lomachenko by decision, and that's how it turned out. Precisely because Luke Campbell is really skilled. He knows how to use his assets that he possesses, but he doesn't have the athleticism that's necessary, really, to compete, to more than compete, but to beat Lomachenko. He had some moments in the fight. He hit Lomachenko pretty flush in the first round, which is something that usually doesn't happen to Lomachenko. And it was a good to great win for Lomachenko in that he picked up the 3rd of the 4 belts that he wants. He's got 1 more to get and become undisputed. That's great. I love Lomachenko's tenacity. If you hit Lomachenko, he's going to hit you back. He does have that in common with Manny Pacquiao. I love what Andre Ward said about him using technical pressure. It's kind of similar to what Gennady Golovkin did in his heyday and does at his best, in that both fighters use real boxing skill. They're really educated in how to use angles and how to use their footwork. They don't use that to go around the ring in a circle. They come straight forward to get you or come from different angles towards you for offense. Lomachenko was excellent at that. I love that. He's just a brilliant fighter, and it's the kind of brilliance that is different than some of the guys that were usually wowed. We're wowed by Manny Pacquiao because of his speed and athleticism. We're wowed by Lomachenko because he's been doing this since he was 4 years old, and you can tell, right? I mean, he's that good, and he's just a joy, I think, to watch box, right? I mean, I love to watch Lomachenko fight because he's so good. And on top of that, we've had guys that are great boxers and really skilled, but he's got that inner fire or something inside him that he just wants to compete. He wants to beat you, and he wants to fight, and I love that in a fighter. I'm really excited about his career. The 2 other lightweights that are going to fight for the other belt are Richard Comey, who has one of the title belts, and Teofimo Lopez, who is a super talent as well. The idea then is those guys are also promoted by Top Rank, that you could, the winner of that fight, who a lot of people think is going to be Lopez, but we'll have to see when we get there, against Lomachenko, could crown an undisputed lightweight champion. We haven't had one of those in a long time. I think the last one was Pernell Whitaker. That's a long time ago. And so that's exciting for the sport. Rachel, do you think that Lomachenko deserves to be the biggest star in boxing? Do you think he's that good? Do you think he's that interesting? Do you think he's that attractive to people? Do you think he brings people into the fight? Or do you think that he's going to always kind of be what I would argue he is right now, which is boxing fans for the most part, love watching Lomachenko fight, but he's not capable or in the right conditions to take the jump up to the next level of Mayweather or Pacquiao.
I think it's that. I think it's the latter. I watching him against Campbell, like I think it showed that somebody with a longer reach was hard for him, and had Campbell had more power, Loma might not have made it out of this fight. And so I think that that's a difference. So it makes me wonder how he stacks up against like other elite level, right?
How about Lopez?
Opponents.
That guy has a lot of talent.
And Campbell's definitely not an elite level opponent. So
he's borderline.
We see lots of people come up, like we saw Gennady Golovkin and stuff. They come up and then all of a sudden they plateau because their opponents, are better than what their previous opponents were, and so they might have looked like amazing because they were just knocking everybody out and they were so good and they were all this. But Loma, this was a 12-round decision. It went the whole distance, and I think if I had been judging the fight, I probably would have given a few more rounds to Luke Campbell.
Yeah.
So if you take in,
I didn't like the judges' scorecards.
You take in, and it wasn't that those rounds were close.
And it seemed like you were kind of like, I was sitting next to you, and you were kind of rooting for Lomachenko. I felt like as you were watching the fight. So it's not like you were like, go Luke Campbell and getting behind Campbell.
Right.
Scoring rounds for him. Like, he was earning the rounds on your card.
He was. Like, he just flat, because there were rounds where, okay, here's what I saw. There were a handful of rounds where I thought Loma was the better fighter in that ring. But because of the reach advantage Campbell had, Loma couldn't get inside and he wasn't landing punches. Yeah. So even though he was like, I still thought he was the better fighter. You can't win a round if you're not landing the punches, and the other guy was. So I think those rounds go to Campbell. And anyway, we got off on this tangent.
Yeah.
But I was just saying, I don't know that Loma has, like, whatever it is, and this goes back to the video we made before the fight and what you said. Yeah, I think we boxing fans, like, we love him. Yeah. We're going to know who he is. I don't know that he's going to be a household name.
Yeah. I think there's two things I thought of. One of them when I was watching the fight, one of them when you talked about him and Golovkin. First of all, yeah, he doesn't have that thing. I don't know what that thing is. It's hard to put a thing.
Well, it's either like in the ring or
outside.
I don't know who he is. Like, I don't know his personality per se. Like, and I said this before about Canelo, and some of you guys commented like in the thing, like, oh, well, in Mexico, he spoke Spanish. If we were in Mexico, he's all like full of personality, and like we just don't get it here in the U.S.
I'll say that when I saw Manny Pacquiao for the first time, it was a long time ago, and nobody knew who he was. You could just see this guy was special. Like, well, who is this guy, and where did he come from? And he just has that thing. He also had that thing where he could move up in weight and still just demolish people, which is not common.
I don't think Loma's like.
I don't think Loma has that, and I don't think he's going to get that. Yeah. And then with Golovkin's a good example of a guy who people said was unbeatable at middleweight. But if you go back and look at Golovkin's resume, which is a fine resume, one of the best in middleweight history, because of he kept winning fights. He has around 20 title defenses, give or take. A lot of those guys were blown up junior middleweights, right? And he fought some good competition, but also, like anybody, he's going to fight some guys. So I'm saying that I think that the idea around him became so much bigger than what he had actually done.
But he had a great promotion, right?
He had HBO behind him.
That built the narrative around Golovkin.
Moffler's a good
did
promoter.
An excellent job.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's happening with Lomachenko. So if you look at somebody like Manny Pacquiao, who's able to
definitely happened with
cross cultures, countries, you should be able to do that. So I will tell you this: Canelo, yes, amongst like Mexicans, huge or whatever, but he is definitely not a household name in like non-Spanish speaking American culture. So like. But Manny Pacquiao is a household.
Manny Pacquiao is, Floyd Mayweather is.
Yeah. So, like, I feel like you should be able to cross those cultural, like, barriers.
Well, it's possible, but it's not. Well, I guess what I'm saying is like, so what if he doesn't? Because that means nothing, really, to what his legacy will be in the sport of boxing. When we talk about Pernell Whitaker, I think they said he was the last undisputed. That's an all-time great fighter, and Lomachenko can still, whether he becomes somebody like Mayweather or Pacquiao, he can still become an all-time great if he keeps winning these type of fights, unifying belts, becoming undisputed, moving up in a weight, beating people that we don't think he can beat. Because that's what made Manny Pacquiao so special, is that he beat people you thought he couldn't beat, and he beat him bad. And if he can start doing that, continue his career, he's got Top Rank behind him there. They've historically been the best promotional company in the world. You could argue that maybe that's changed today. Because there's so many good companies out there today. But Lomachenko's had a great career. He's having a great career. He's a great fighter. You know who else is great? This person. Rachel McCarson is great. And she's just one half of Real Talk with Kelsey and Rachel. So we've already got great. I'm pretty good too. Thanks for watching our show. Be sure to click the like, comment, and subscribe button. And just be our best boxing friends forever! Ever.